All right, when we onboard a new client, one of the first things we do is we ask them to establish or to set their rental policies. If you're self-managing, you're going to want to set these policies for yourself as well. Okay, so these are not just check boxes, they're the rules that shape how your property is going to run, how tenants experience it, and how much risk you're willing to tolerate as an owner. Okay, and you're gonna balance that out with how quickly you rent the property. So in this video, I'll walk you through each of the 4 policies, explain your options, and share our recommended policies based off 15 years of experience managing hundreds of rental properties in the greater Puget Sound area. Okay, so the 4 policies are minimum qualification for tenancy, utility billing, landscape policy, and pet policy. Okay, so number 1, minimum qualification for tenancy is also known as your applicant criteria, one of the most important decisions that you will make. These are the minimum qualifications an applicant must meet in order to qualify for tenancy at your property. Here is the key. You cannot use vague language. You cannot say, I will consider on a case-by-case basis. That phrase is a fair housing violation waiting to happen because it implies you may apply different standards to different applicants, which is discriminatory. Don't do it. There is no such thing as case by case. The best approach is to focus on credit and income because they are both objective, quantifiable, and verifiable. So here are the 4 choices that we present to our clients and that you can use if you like. Number 1, standard. This is our recommended applicant criteria across the board. Minimum 650 credit score plus 2.5 times rent gross household income. This criteria creates just enough friction to screen out unqualified tenants without shrinking the pool so much that vacancy drags out for, months. Number 2 we have is called strict. Okay, so this is a minimum of 700 credit score and 3 times rent gross household income. Your applicant pool is going to shrink a lot with this. Not everybody's going to be able to meet those qualifications. Yes, you will get the most qualified tenants, but they will also have higher expectations. They will expect perfect condition at move-in, often full paint and flawless maintenance. Vacancy will likely be a little bit longer, but it could be the right trade-off for you if that's what's most important to you. So if you're comfortable trading higher vacancy time and higher turnover costs for the lowest risk tenants available, this is the option for you. Third option that we present to our clients is lenient. Lenient is a minimum of 600 credit score with a 2 times rent gross household income. You'll attract a larger applicant pool because more people can meet these qualifications, but obviously comes a little bit higher risk. This option is most often used in our lower income areas where applicants regularly present with lower credit and or lower incomes. And then the 4th option that we present with our clients is other, which is basically they write some combination of the above of what's most important to them, and we allow that fill in the blank section. The most important thing that you do is you write it out, you set it, and you apply it fairly and consistently across the board, no matter what. The second policy is how utilities are billed and recovered. So here are your options. Tenant pays all the utilities. That's the easiest, obviously, and are recommended by default if it's possible and available at your property. So if you have a single family property and all utilities are billed specifically to that property, no problem. Tenants are responsible for all utilities. Now, if you have a different kind of setup, you have a multifamily, this is where things can get kind of tricky, particularly if it's a non-conforming duplex, you didn't get all the right permits and or you didn't sub-meter, you didn't set up the sub-meters for both units, okay? If all utilities are shared, water, sewer, garbage, electricity, everything is shared between the units and there are 0 sub-meters, we're gonna do flat fee across the board. We're not gonna try and do a percentage calculation based off person or this or that. Causes way too many problems and disputes, frustrates your tenants, slows down leasing because people don't understand, and confused mind says no, so no. Just make it simple. What we do is we take the last 6 months of utilities, do the math, figure out the average per person per month amount. That's our flat fee. So it usually ends up being between like $50 and $85 per month per person, depending on the area and the size of the home. And then that's what we put on the listing and that's what we put on the list. Flat fee, $75 per person per month, all utilities. Great. Combination, hybrid of that is if a lot of times the water, sewer, garbage is shared between like 2 units and the electricity is actually sub-metered, so we just do a hybrid. Tenant pays electricity directly to the electric company and they do a flat fee for water, sewer, garbage. And the last part, or the last option we have for our clients on the onboarding form is Other not sure, please advise. Basically, you don't know how it's set up and you need us to figure it out. Go ahead and indicate that and we'll figure it out. Bottom line here is create clear details on how utilities are paid and by whom, by when, so that there's no confusion during tenancy, nobody gets confused, and everybody's happy, pays their rent, and stays for a really long time. Next up, we have landscaping. What's your landscaping policy going to be? And this is one policy that many owners overlook. They don't even think about it. They're like, oh, tenants are responsible for landscaping. That sounds great, but it doesn't always work out that way. So the options that we present to our clients at onboarding are this. Number one, landscaping included in rent. Honestly, this is what we recommend if you have a single family home that has a nicer yard. So what we're gonna do in this case is the housing provider is going to set up the landscaper, maintain the landscaping agreement with the landscaping company, pay them directly, make sure the work is getting done up to your standards. It's just included in the rent. Tenant has nothing to do with it. They pay the rent, we pay that bill. This benefit is consistency. Your property stays market ready, curb appeal is maintained, the plant life is maintained. If you know anything about plants, you know if it goes down for 6 months, it could take 2 years to get it back to where it was. And this is actually a selling point during lease up because we can say, yep, the landscaping is included in rent. You don't have to worry about it. You'll enjoy this beautiful yard and you don't have to lift a finger. That's something we can sell. The opposite is what most owners end up doing is they say landscaping is required and the tenants have to pay for it. Well, that's great, right? So we get all the benefits of keeping the yard up, but the tenant always during lease up pushes back and say, I don't want to pay for that. I'll take care of the yard myself. I've always taken care of the yard. I have a green thumb. I love taking care of the yard, yada, yada. They never do. It's never great. And we end up disputing about it at move out. You didn't keep it up. Now we're going to charge them. Now they're going to dispute that. All because you wanted to save $140 a month when you could have just offset that cost by raising the rent a little bit. Number 3, tenant responsible for landscaping. Now, if you're not really worried about the yard, like it's there, it exists, it's not great, it's not really improving the value of the home, you can just say tenant's responsible for landscaping. A lot of times we end up doing this, they're responsible for it, they upkeep it just fine, and at the end of the time, everybody's happy, there's no extra charge. It's when it starts going bad that it gets bad. If we say that tenants are responsible for landscaping and they really aren't taking care of the yard at all, what we can do at that point, if they're just not upkeeping it to our standards, is we hire a landscaper to go out and maintain it, and then we start charging for it at that point. So we're not arguing about it at the beginning during lease up. We're saying, okay, you're gonna take care of the yard, and if you don't, then we reserve the right to hire a landscaper and charge you for it because you're not keeping up your end of the deal. So that's an option that we use pretty often. And honestly, most tenants keep up with their yard, and on occasion we have to exercise that right to dispatch landscaping. Okay, so our advice, our recommendation on this is if you have a nice yard and it is actually adding to the value of the property, get the landscaper in place, include it in rent, remove all disputes, keep your tenants happy, attract the best tenants with that amenity that you've added. If you're not too worried about it, have the tenants be responsible for it. Last one is pets. Pet policy, what pets you're gonna allow, not allowed. I spend way too much time, way too many hours of my life talking about this issue, okay? Whether or not you allow pets has a huge implication on how many people will be interested in your property. Listen, it doesn't matter how nice your property is, how much somebody wants to live there, they will not get rid of their cat or their dog in order to move into your property. They just won't, okay? This is a member of their family. They won't even consider it. If you're onboarding with Sagarius, the options that we present to our clients are as follows. Number 1, which is our recommended pet policy, is allow up to 2 pets, cats or dogs, up to 30 pounds with a $50 per month pet rent. That's a recommendation. Okay, the other options we have are not sure, please advise. If you say not sure, please advise, we're going to recommend our standard pet policy, okay, because that's what we recommend. Okay, no pets, this is going to cut your applicant pool dramatically. So let's draw a picture. Okay, so this is your rental property, right? And here's all the people who are interested in your property. And they're really excited to live here. And this is just how rental policy in general works. So this is your applicant pool. And then you say, actually, I want to enforce the strict rental policy, the strict applicant criteria. So you have to have at least 700 credit score and 3 times rent. Well, that means none of these people can qualify, so they're gone. And then you say, also, no pets. Now all these people are gone. Okay, and then you say, and you have to take care of the landscaping yourself. Now all these people are gone. Now you have one person left who might be interested and is qualified to rent your property, and they come and look at your house, but here's the thing, yours is not the only house on the market. Okay, so they're looking at all the other ones and they have the highest qualification. So you've just limited how many people will be interested and or are able to qualify for your property. So these are the decisions you're making. This is like what you're considering when you're setting these policies. How many people will be interested and how many people will be able to qualify for the standards that I've set. On the flip side, no restrictions. All the pets, bring them all right? Up to 100 pounds, you can have as many as 10 animals in my property. I don't care. If you do that, there'd be people who would not be able to rent literally anywhere else, but they'd be able to rent your home. I have had clients do that with great success. Like they plan on tearing the house down in a year anyway, so they're like, you know what? Turning it into a zoo. Fine. Okay, here's the reality. If you allow pets, you broaden your applicant pool, more people will be interested. If you limit them, you will limit your applicant pool, vacancy will increase. No other way around it. So these are the policies that you need to set in order to determine how your property is going to run, how much income you're going to bring in, and how much risk you're willing to take on. Your goal is to strike the balance between protecting your investment and attracting the best tenants for your property. If you found this helpful, like and subscribe for more property management tips.